So would the commissioners please rise? I want to first start by saying welcome and congratulations on your appointment to the Planning and Zoning Commission. The city appreciates your continued involvement in the local government. And reminder, when I ask you to state your name, if you can state one at a time from left to right, or from my left to right. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name.
I, Aileen Pearson,
I, Ian McLeod,
Do solemnly affirm
do
solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
and take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully
the
discharge
duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Do you attest to the oath that you just took?
Yes.
Thank you. You may lower your hands now. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And if you could sign, please sign the oath and then pass it back to me. I'll get you a copy.
Okay. There we go. All together. Okay. Anything else, Ann? All good. Thank you very much. Now that we're duly sworn in, we can call this meeting to order. The Wednesday, February 12th, 2025 regular meeting of the City of Albany Planning and Zoning Commission. And I'll call the meeting to order, and I will next do the land acknowledgement, which is, the City of Albany recognizes that we occupy the land originally protected by the Confederated Villages of Lishan. We acknowledge the genocide that took place on these lands and must make strides to repay the moral debt that is owed to this indigenous people, specifically the Ohlone tribe. We thank them for their contributions, which have transformed our community and will continue to bring forth growth and unity. The City of Albany commits to sustaining ongoing relationships with the tribe and together build a better future for all that now make this their home. And with that, we can do the roll call.
Yes, Commissioner Pearson. Welcome, Commissioner Pearson. Commissioner Pilch
Yes, here.
and Chair McLeod
Here.
and Commissioner Watty and Commissioner Moman are absent.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item number 3, ex parte communications. Has any commissioner had any ex parte? Seeing none, I have not had any, so we'll move on to item 4, consent calendar. Consent calendar items are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion, etc. And we only have one item, which is the meeting minutes of January 8th, 2025. Does anyone, I have just one thing about the minutes.
Yes.
My name's misspelled. And
Oh, no, not again. Oh, no. Okay.
yeah, on the line 9.
Okay, I will,
First part. Yeah, everywhere else it was fine. Just-
if you all choose to adopt the final minutes, and I will remind folks that you do not have to have had to have been at that meeting to vote on them, but if you do not feel comfortable, we can continue. But I would say adopt, anyway, if it is a motion, we'll adopt with the correction of Chair McLeod's last name.
Otherwise, I have no problem. Anyone else have any issues with them minutes, or can we move to approve?
Would I take any public comment?
Oh, does anyone from the public wish to pull the meeting minutes of January 8th, 2025 from the consent calendar?
If you wish to, if you wish to speak on the meeting minutes, the consent calendars, please walk up to the podium and/or use the raise the hand icon.
No, okay, we can move on to moving, hopefully, do we have a motion?
I'll move we approve the minutes with the correction of your name.
I'll second. So, Commissioner Pilch,
Yes.
Pearson?
So even though I wasn't here, I can say, if I were to abstain, then it would have to be continued to the.
Correct, yeah.
So I'll vote yes.
Okay,
And I vote yes as well.
okay, minutes pass.
Okay, next, item 5, public comment. For persons desiring to address the commission on an item that is not on the agenda, please note that each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. The Brown Act limits the commission's ability to take and/or discuss items that are not on the agenda. Therefore, such items are normally referred to staff for comment or to a future agenda. Is there anyone here who would like to make a public comment? Go to the city or any other topic?
Anyone online wishing to make comment for something not on the agenda, use the raise the hand icon. Nope.
Okay, seeing none, we'll close item 5 and move on to item 6. And so do you want to go, we should go ahead and switch the order then.
Yes, I think we should make a
Liz Waddy will
motion.
still be coming, you think?
It's my understanding she is planning on attending, and she does need to recuse herself from item 6.2. So
Okay,
my
well.
recommendation is if there can be a motion and a second to switch the order to hear 959 Talbot first, followed by 915 Taylor.
I so move that we switch the order of 6.1 and 6.2.
I'll second it.
And vote, Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pilch?
Yes.
I vote yes. So we've switched the order, so we're going to go ahead with item 6-2, planning application 25-003, 959 Talbot Avenue. And staff will give us a presentation.
Okay, so good evening again, commissioners and members of the public. I'm Mira Han, Associate Planner with the city. Nice to meet you, Commissioner Pearson. And tonight I'm here to present Design Review and Use Permit Application PA 25-003 at 959 Talbot Avenue. So we will begin. So as we can see here, that's the project location. This was also included in the staff report. That's the subject property from street view, sort of like a neighborhood or a street view context as well. So the photo shows the existing structure and the drawings would show the proposed. So the project request is to construct a new approximately 1,071 square foot second story addition with a 41 square foot lower level addition at the rear and demolish the existing rear deck to construct a new 583 square foot lower level deck. The project requires a use permit to vertically extend the existing non-conforming 4-foot left north side yard setback for the second story addition, where a 5-foot setback is required. So we can see here, this is a project from site plan view. I would like to clarify that the circle, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of faint here. I apologize for that. So on the north, or like the upper part of the structure, so the one that's hatched, like in dark blue, that's still the area of the addition. To the north of that area, or to the upper part, there's a kind of like an oval in dark orange. That's a bay window that's being proposed at the proposed staircase. So one thing that we would like to clarify here is that bay windows fall in the category of projecting bays in the section that regulates allowed encroachments and setbacks for architectural projections. So this section, which is 24.060 of our code, allows projecting bays to encroach up to 2 feet 6 inches into a required yard with a minimum side yard setback of 3 feet. So if it encroaches, it still needs to keep 3 feet, right? So the required yard in this case is 5 feet, and the plans show that the bay projects exactly 2 feet into that 5-foot yard, keeping a clear passage of 3 feet from the property line. So this complies with building code provisions and the section of our municipal code that regulates architectural projection. So that was just a little bit of clarification. So in other words, they're okay with the bay window per code, building code and municipal code. These are the existing elevations from all 4 sides. We compare with proposed elevations. So the line in kind of like a lighter baby blue is the outline of the existing home. These are the section drawings for comparison. So the upper part shows the existing section drawings, and the lower part is the proposed. So you can see how the interior will be changing. So for projects which exceed 45% floor to area ratio, or FAR, these are subject to exceptional design as reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission. So what that means is that projects that exceed this threshold are reviewed with more attention in terms of quality of materials and design and architectural elements. So the proposed design treatments that retain and enhance the architectural style of the house include new asphalt shingle roofs and stucco walls to match the existing fiberglass windows and copper roofing at the existing bay window in the front, wood decking and trellis at the rear. One thing that I should also mention is that the project proposes to retain the existing trees and the landscape at the front and the rear, enhancing the exterior of the residence. The staff has not received any correspondence in regards to this project proposal, and staff recommends with that the Planning and Zoning Commission review and approve the proposed project subject to the findings and conditions of approval. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I should also mention that the architect has joined virtually as well, and I think, are you here? The property owners are here as well. Yeah.
Homeowners. Well, normally we would now do questions for staff by commissioners, and then we can move on to either listening to the architect or hearing from the homeowners. Does anyone have any questions for staff?
I have a question.
Yes.
So the projected bay window, can you clarify if the walkway, the 3-foot walkway, is there free of vegetation?
Yes, it is, and it complies, that clearance complies, as you may already know, with fire safety and building code as well. So yes, the answer is yes.
Any other questions, or?
Do you have a follow-up?
Materials, is that
Well, no, you should ask that. If you can speak into
Speak
your
into the microphone. Yeah,
that would be
thanks,
great.
everyone.
Thank you.
So one question I had was about the wood deck, the 583 square foot deck. Just curious if there's an opportunity to have non-combustible material, thinking about home hardening and, having defensible space around the home, if it would be possible to make a recommendation or a requirement for non-combustible materials for the deck and the trellis.
So we don't have an ordinance yet on non-combustible materials. However, I think that's a great question to ask if the homeowners are amenable to that. And I think we're all very cognizant of fire safety, and I think we will all be moving forward, if not this year, but shortly, with changes of allowable vegetation and materials.
Commissioner Pilch, questions?
Yeah, and just to follow up to Commissioner Pearson, is this something that urban areas are adopting? Because we're not up against the WUI, we're not in the WUI, but
They are.
they are.
They are. I mean, if you look at Santa Rosa, if you look at, if you look at Pacific Palisades, those flat areas, very, very similar to Albany, that suffered in the fire. So
Okay.
yeah, many jurisdictions are now looking to impose regulations,
Okay.
even outside WUI.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. One administrative note, the City of Albany guest Wi-Fi doesn't seem to be working correctly. I don't know if Jeremy is doing the video, if he can reboot that or something, that would be great. And, oh, actually, that was my only question.
Okay. Why don't we hear from the architect, if they would join us? It's a brief presentation.
The architect, yes.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Great. Yes, so this project is for a busy family of four that are hoping to expand their house and continue living in Albany. I appreciate the question about the fire-rated decking. You know, it is our intention to use either something like EPay, which is Class A fire rated. There's TimberTech, there's a number of products out there that are fire rated, and so yes, we would be willing to consider that for the safety of the home and the safety of the community. Let's see, are there any other specific questions for us related to this project?
Commissioner Pilch, do you have any?
Sure. I hope I'm not crossing from question into comment, but it looks like the existing front of the house is preserved, and the addition has a different architectural style, and I'm wondering if you want to speak to that at this time.
Oh, sure. Would you be willing to put up the exterior elevations?
Yeah, just give me 1 second until I get there. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why it's not showing the complete, anyway.
I think that's.
Well, maybe I can speak to the existing house has a really lovely bay window on the front that has a copper roof detail, and we're actually preserving this. There's a little bit of a slope that you might see, a little eyebrow underneath the front porch. And we're actually repeating these details you'll see on the second floor that eyebrow piece is being repeated above one of the windows. Let's see, maybe here we go. So if you look at drawing number 7 on the bottom right, there is a detail being repeated. I guess the materials themselves are we're using the same materials that are there. So in that sense, we're matching the current house. We're replacing the windows throughout, so they will be consistent. Maybe the comment is the comment more about the shape of the roof, that is feeling different, and if so, we do have a flat roof forward and on the right side. However, for rain and for other, to add character to the house, we are looking at a gable roof on the second floor. Did I answer your question?
Yes. Maybe you could speak to if you considered. You are correct. I did notice the repetition of the arch element. That's like that. Maybe you could speak to whether you considered changing the roof on the front part of the house, or if there were constraints to that.
We did look at that. It's a good question. However, in trying to bring as much light and air into those front windows, it was decided to keep the the roof flat in that area to maximize the windows. And there is a certain charm to the existing house that we were trying to preserve and hold on to on the front. So you'll see that the scale of the windows are consistent with those existing windows that are in the front bay. But then as we're traveling around the side into the back of the house, there is a little bit more of a modern interpretation where we're bringing in some picture windows for the bedrooms and the family room that's on the rear of the house. So the windows are taking more of a functional approach to how they fit in the space, or what the light conditions are, or whether or not there's a bathroom. We're trying to generate a clerestory window for privacy. So that's how the language unfolded. And there were a number of studies that we prepared and reviewed with the clients, and ultimately this composition is what floated to the top as being the best for the front and the rear of the house, as well as desirable by the clients.
Okay, thank you. You've answered my questions, so thank you.
Any other questions, or no? I just had one question. It's a really extensive remodel. And per our climate action goals, we're really encouraging people to go all electric. So you consider all electric construction. It's the perfect time to do it and eliminate the gas meter.
We might need to wait until Commissioner Pilch
Okay.
re-enters the room.
Okay, I'm sorry, we'll have to take just a minute or two break while Commissioner Pilch has left the room. And so if you could just wait for a second to answer.
Try to share again, so just to see if that's.
Here he is, coming back, okay.
I think it's fine.
Did she hear my question? Or-
Hi, Stacy.
About the all electric.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a perfect opportunity. All the systems are going to be upgraded. We're really trying to push our climate action goals.
Yes,
Can't force you to do
absolutely.
it because our ordinance, the gas only, or non-gas appliance ordinance is in abeyance at the moment.
So in this case, it's interesting because as we take this project through Title 24 energy calcs, we're finding that we're almost obligated to go electric anyways, electric hot water heaters, and we have a plan for that in this design. There is an existing cooktop that is remaining. The house, the existing kitchen is not proposed to be completely updated, but as the family changes out their appliances in the future, we can provide an electrical outlet that would allow for an induction cooktop or range to be added into the kitchen in the future.
Okay, all right, thank you. Would you like to make a statement or tell us anything about your point of view for this project? Or you're welcome to, you don't have to.
Oh, is this a question for me?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm talking to the clients. I don't think we have any more questions for you as the project architect. So we move on either to your clients.
If you do, please come up to the podium.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you, Stacy. I'm Mike, and
Martha.
This is Martha, and we've really appreciated working with Stacy. She summed it up well when she said that we love where we are. We love the block. We love the community. Growing family, not easy to find space, and we like where we are so much that we prefer to make the space where we are as opposed to relocate. And just really appreciate the opportunity to be here and the attention and the questions, and some of which have also occurred to us. So thank you.
Okay,
A lot of gratitude. Thanks.
okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, why don't we move on to public comment? Is there anyone in the room who would like to comment on this project?
Or anyone in?
Or online.
Yeah, if you wish to comment, please use the raise the hand icon. No.
No public comment. We'll close public comment and move to commissioner discussion. So does anyone have any comments? Anything you'd like to say about the project, or Commissioner Pilch, why don't you start?
Sure. My only comment was related to my question that I've already raised, that the flat-roofed existing portion of the house is a mismatch with the design of the rest of the house. However, I do appreciate the flat roof does allow for more light into the front windows on the second story, and I do appreciate, not doing more work than is necessary by changing the roof on the front of the house. Maybe I can look to the architect to comment on that further, but that was. I just wish there was a little bit more harmony between those two portions of the residence. Otherwise, I think it's a fine project.
Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I had a question about the electrification as well, so I was glad that you asked that. I'm glad that the architect and the family is interested or willing to look at, interested or willing to look at non-combustible materials for the safety of your home and for your neighbors and for the community. I think it's really important. Similarly, I think it's really important that your house is electric ready. You have the panel that you're going to need come 2027 when back mud regulations come into play. You won't be able to buy gas appliances. So make sure your house is ready. Get your knob and tube taken out in order for you to make sure that you have, that you will get your homeowner's insurance, and just preparing. In terms of the design, I think it's a fine design. I recognize the same thing that Nick pointed out, but I also understand wanting to maximize or minimize the amount of work that you have to do and keep the original structure. I think you're the beginning, the front of your house is really charming, and so I'm glad that you've kept that as is.
I agree with everything that's been said, and design-wise, it's a little bit of an odd duck. You've got the flat roof in the front, the little bit of a flat roof, then gables. For me, it doesn't quite coalesce into a kind of unified whole, but at the same time, the addition is mostly set back from the street, from the front, and you will really mostly see just the front facade from the street. I'm less concerned about the side views. There's a mature landscape already. I think it's a beautiful garden. I think there's minimal impact of, the sort of slightly disparate design elements. The other points, well, and I can see why you're doing the gable roofs allow you to do various things internally, vaulted ceilings that are very attractive, very pleasant to live in. So I see the value there too. And then the other comments we've had about fire safety. It's a big one, and I think it's going to be growing as we move forward with hotter, drier climate and more big fires. And we've had study sessions here for disaster planning, where one scenario is that the fire starts in the hills, on the east side of the hills, and really just blows down and could blow potentially all the way to the bay. Kind of like Pacific Palisades, exactly that. Starts on the top or backside of the hills and blows all the way down. So fire safety is going to be something that probably every homeowner has to start considering a little more safely. And in your case, you have the deck, and there's the cedar trellis wrapping around the upper bedroom. So that could be something you could reconsider and make out of either more non-combustible materials or, the various ways, heavier timbers. Little hard to do that for a delicate little trellis, but, you could think about that. And then decks can certainly have less combustible materials. There are certain Class A rated decking materials. They're usually composites, which I tend not to like as much aesthetically, but, we don't want our house to burn down. So that's the one comment I would make about that. But it is voluntary, so it's up to you. And I would point out, I do a lot of residential construction, and a lot of insurance companies are requiring homeowners to remove wood siding, put non-combustible siding, remove wooden decks, put non-combustible decks, et cetera. So it may become an insurance issue for you. Not so much yet in the flatlands. Definitely it is in the hills, but it may be coming. Who knows? And with that, I would support the project. I think it's going to be a very pleasant, fantastic place to live inside. It looks great. Internal layout looks nice. And the little deck on the side and the back looks really like a very pleasant place to be. So I think it's a nice design in that respect. So I support the project. And if we have a motion or...
I can move planning application, approval of planning application PA 25, PA 25-003, 959 Talbot Avenue.
I'll second it.
And with that, we'll go to a vote. Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pilch?
Yes.
I vote yes as well, so that passes 3-0. Planning application 25-003, 959 Talbot is approved. There is a 14-day appeal period, so if there are story poles up, they should remain up for another 14 days. And congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Okay, so we'll move on now to item 6-1.
And Commissioner Wadi is present out in the lobby.
Oh, is she outside? Yes. Being sworn in, I assume.
Well, she was just waiting to come back in. Mr. Wadi.
Went on a walk around the block.
We're just going to take a brief moment waiting for one more commissioner to join us. Here she is. Okay, welcome. Duly sworn in. Okay. All right, so we will move on to item 6-1, planning application 24-041-915 Taylor Street. A design review, use permit and design review request to construct a 39-square-foot exterior landing with stairs and a rear deck. Do we have a staff report, please?
Yes. So hello again, commissioners and members of the public. Again, this is Mira Hunt, associate planner with the city. For those who are just joining us, we lost I think there are some technical issues back there. Okay, great. There we go. Okay. So that's our presentation for use permit and design review application, PA 24-041 at 915 Taylor Street. So this slide shows the project location on the left side and a little bit of background on the project that I would like to mention. So as written on the staff report, the existing property received design review approval by the Planning and Zoning Commission in 2021 to construct a two-story addition on the southern rear of the duplex. So it's kind of like in red dotted lines on the upper elevation drawing. And that's from front view, and in a porch enclosure to accommodate more living space for both the lower and upper units of the duplex. So part of the project work while this was being built included regrading and paving of the driveway, with the existing driveway, which required replacing the landing for the lower unit entryway located on the north facade. So the little elevation at the bottom shows that entry, that door to the lower level of the duplex. It's existing. While this was being built, while it was being regraded and paved, the driveway was being regraded and paved, the landing needed to be replaced. And so that brings us to the next slide, which is why we're here. So this is the design review request to construct a 39 square foot exterior landing and stairs at the entrance of the lower level unit of the existing duplex, and an approximately 300 square foot lower level deck at the rear, which I should mention has already been built, so it's a retroactive approval or request for approval. The project requires also a use permit to maintain the existing non-conforming 6-foot front yard setback for the landing and stairs, where a 9-foot setback is required for landing and stairs in our code. So yeah, we can see here the site plan of the project. As you can see here, the proposed landing at the existing entry door is aligned with the existing non-conforming 6-foot front yard setback to the left of the site plan. The rear deck shown on the right side of the site plan does conform with all development standards, setbacks, lot coverage, etc., and does not require a use permit, only design review. So the proposed elevations, so you can imagine the existing is without the landing and the deck. That should be existing, but proposed elevations show, so on the right side, you will see the side and the front view. I'm sorry. I should say the north elevation and the west elevation. So it is kind of like in diagonal, show where the landing would be and stairs. So this is a required landing to bring it up to code. And yeah, you can also see the deck. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty straightforward. And we will go and present what the proposed materials and colors are. So for the front landing and stairs, the proposed material is a dark treated wood, like you can see here. And the rear deck, which has been already built, is proposed material is, it's been built in redwood. So yeah, that's pretty much, in a nutshell, the scope of work of this application. We have not received any correspondence regarding this project proposal. And with that, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission review and approve the proposed project subject to the findings and conditions of approval.
Thank you for the presentation. Do we have any questions for staff by any commissioners?
I guess I'll just ask, so can you clarify, the back is red, the back deck has already been built and it's redwood, and then what they're proposing in the front is a different type of wood? Does that different type of wood correspond to any other elements on the existing house?
Oh, I am not really sure. Let me see. Let me bring up the plans. Perhaps if the owner is present, he could help us answer that, as I don't think we have enough photos.
I have some photos.
So yeah, the property owner is
So is
present.
it, just from a site visit, the front entryway is going to be painted black? Well, it is, but it's going to be reconfigured. And the trim of the existing home, can you pull it up, also is black. So from the front, it will have a cohesive color scheme. The rest of the home is pretty much white with a black trim, and this would be the stairs with the black trim to match.
So let's see if, yep.
So,
So you can see the trim on the left side, this photograph.
I had a question as well, or just, yeah, that photograph shows the entryway for the lower, on the left, right? That's the stairs that is being replaced.
Right, the stairs are being proposed to move to the rear. So
Yeah.
this is going to be rebuilt
The steps would go
on the
towards
other
the
side,
back, and then-
right, so that they don't encroach into the front yard setback.
So that stair is in the 6-foot setback.
Exactly, but it's going to be moved, and it's part of the proposal to move it to the back.
Okay.
Yes.
And that work hasn't been done yet? Is that
It
correct?
hasn't. They're waiting for
Okay.
your approval so that they can move forward with the building permit. And have, the landing up to code and, yeah.
Right, and then, once we approve, assuming we approve, then it would just go to building permit approval, and they would have to meet whatever codes for their existing deck, the one they've already built, would have to be
Yeah.
retro approved, so to
Yes,
speak.
exactly.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. If the applicant is online and would like to, so,
Yes.
fine.
Oops.
Hello,
Yes, we can hear you.
thank you.
Good evening.
Do you want to say a few words about your project?
Well, does anyone have any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, then not really necessary that we
Okay.
hear from the applicant. I think we get it. I think we understand it. Is there any,
Oh, wait.
try again?
Hello.
Yeah, now we can, okay. Do you have a few words to say for your project?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry, I was busy talking away and then I realized that you couldn't hear me. Hi, commissioners. This is Sanjay. I'm the owner of 915 Taylor. I just want to thank you for taking the time to review my project and Mira for presenting the project. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. I believe one of the questions was whether the same material has been used in the rest of the house. The same type of wood has been used for the accent around the windows and the doors, as you can see in the picture, and it matches the exterior color of the house, which is basically black and white, which goes with the theme of the house. So that's with regards to the material used in the front landing. Where the back landing, we use redwood. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're using redwood for the back deck,
Yes, sir.
right. And that deck has been constructed, so it will be reviewed by the plans will be reviewed by the building department
Yes, sir.
and inspected. Well, we don't really have any other questions for you, so thank you for your comments. And is there any public comment? Anyone there's no one else in the room, so is there anyone online?
Yeah, if anyone else wishes to speak on this project, please use the raise the hand icon. No?
No public comment. All right, we'll close public comment and move on to commissioner discussion. Does anyone have any comments about this project? Commissioner Wadi?
Sure. Thanks for the presentation. To me, I was actually almost surprised that this even needed planning commission approval. It looks very straightforward, very routine, the type of thing I would have otherwise anticipated is like a almost over-the-counter approval. So I see no issues with it, and I'll let others speak, but otherwise I'm happy to make a motion to approve.
Any other comments? Commissioner Pilch? Yeah, seems straightforward. Providing a legal code-approved entryway to the lower unit seems pretty important. And I appreciate that they're removing it out of the front 6-foot setback. That seems like a good thing to do. And they'll just go through the building permit process, and hopefully their deck has been built to current code, and they'll deal with that as they have to. So with that, if someone would make a motion?
Sure, happy to make a motion. I do not have the agenda in front of me. What is it? On item 6-1, planning application 24-041, the use permit and design review for 915 Taylor Street.
Second, anyone?
A second.
And with that, we'll go to a vote. Commissioner Wadi?
Aye.
Commissioner Pilch?
Yes.
Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
And I vote yes, so that that application has passed 4-0. It's been approved. There was a 14-day appeal period. There are no story polls, so that doesn't apply. So, yeah, planning application 25-0039, I'm sorry, 2401, 24-041, 915. Taylor Street has been approved. Okay. And we will move on to our last item, election of new planning commission chair and vice chair. Staff, do you have anything to say?
No. I would like to say typically, but I think you all, maybe with the exception of Commissioner Pearson, know typically if you tend to change every year or if you tend to do a 2-year changeover. So however, the advisory body guidebook, which is being updated, and you should be having a presentation on that by our city clerk at a future meeting, does recommend a yearly change, but that is completely up to you. As you know, Vice Chair Moman is not available at this meeting, so that doesn't preclude you from moving forward with this. You can also choose to continue until you have a full house. However, sometimes it's difficult to get all of you, so I would just like you to keep that in consideration before you choose to continue, if you were to move that way.
Well, I've done it for 1 year, and I would like to continue. It seemed like a short year. I don't know. We didn't have that many meetings, it seemed like, so. I would like to continue. Enjoy doing it and do it for 1 more year and then step aside for someone, whoever else. Although it would have been normally Commissioner Moman who was vice chair and would then continue potentially, but as chair. But any other thoughts, anyone?
I'm happy to make a motion to, I don't know what the right language is, recommend Commissioner McLeod for chair and Mohammed as vice chair.
I would be happy with that motion too, but I wonder if we should wait until Commissioner Moman is present. Perhaps he doesn't want to do it. That would be my only concern. Otherwise, I'm in favor of the motion. What do commissioners think?
Do the motion just for chair and then wait for vice chair? I mean, where is that?
I'm not sure who'd have, concern.
I think we can volunteer him.
We just volunteer him. Decline and
as
then
chairman.
go through
It was a short year. I agree. I don't know he got much.
You can always make a
tenure
motion
there.
in a future meeting if we have to.
to replace him if he resigns.
Yes.
You know, you snooze, you lose. So.
Okay, so Commissioner Wadi's motion is
And I'll second that motion.
vote. Commissioner Pearson?
Yep.
Commissioner Pilch?
Yes.
Commissioner Wadi?
Aye.
And I will vote yes as well. So that means I will be chair 1 more year.
Congratulations, Chair McLeod.
Thank you. Okay, so item 6-3 is closed. Item 7, presentations. Any presentations?
No presentations.
Item 8, any announcements?
Just a little bit of announcements about your upcoming projected meeting load. So we are losing, not losing, we are going to be down 50% of our staff for the next few weeks as Mira goes off to Columbia starting on next week. So I know you've been feeling like you've had an abbreviated workload. It's going to maybe be even more abbreviated. So just heads up, I will be pushing what I can through, and I just wanted to let you know of some of the ordinances that will be coming forward to you this year. One, as I know Chair McLeod knows, is a ordinance on bicycle parking and standards, and I think that will be taken care of by our transportation planning staff, and they're targeting, we kind of went through a schedule, and it looks like it will be in spring, well, it's almost spring, but later spring of this year. You will also be seeing kind of a cleanup ordinance come by for signs that is imperative as per our legal counsel. However, when I looked at the sign ordinance, I'm like, I can't just change that. It's terrible. So I'm trying to debate how much I'm actually going to change because it needs some help, the whole ordinance. So I'd like to do it slightly more comprehensively. And then I also know that opens a can of worms. But some form, either just accept this language and we'll deal with the rest later, or some that will be coming probably before the bike ordinance. I also reviewed our letter, our certification of our housing element letter from HCD. And I think you know that the items that were listed at the bottom of your certification letter are the ones that HCD will be following up for code enforcement, hence our tenant protection and our hack that we've established. I kind of went through them as well in terms of what would be doable this year for this commission. And the one I see for sure happening is residential care facilities. Our ordinance is behind on that, and that's a quick one. That doesn't mean I don't want to bring you some more meaty ones, like relooking at R1 and R2 zoning. And I'm trying to be realistic with our workload and what we can actually cross off the list. So I just wanted to share that with you, and yeah, that's what I have. So if any of you have any announcements or questions about that, please let me know.
No, I just know we talked about, kind of like what you just did, an outline of what's coming for the next year or even beyond, but at least for a year to kind of understand what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I had other things I had suggested, but I can't recall them all off the top of my head right now. But the bike parking ordinance was one. Some zoning updates or reviews also.
Correct. I actually have your list. One was Solano Avenue specific plan, and I can tell you that, very honestly, we could more potentially move forward if we were looking at rezoning, looking at zoning as opposed to a whole specific plan, which is something that I would be amenable to, and it would fit in, I think, with our housing element priorities as well. So I can let you know your other ones if you'd like. Upgrade standards across the city, which is again in line with relooking at our R1 and R2 zoning. Reviewing FAR, eliminating an obstacle to housing. We've done that a little bit by eliminating the need to, certain exemptions for ADUs up to 800 square feet. We can look at that even further. Renter equity, fair housing, that's being handled by our Housing Advisory Commission, updated TDM, and complete overhaul of bike parking ordinance. We're going to start with the bike parking ordinance and then hopefully transition to TDM measures, and that's transportation demand management strategies. So revisions to Measure K and Measure C, we'll leave that up to our fearless leaders in City Council to take charge on that. Update objective design standards. Yes, and not this year. So. And then you also had some green building standards, LEED, passive housing, green globe, soft story ordinance, which is, you were just asking for a status update. And he did send this to me in fall. So our soft story ordinance is up and running. So we have information on our website, so that's great. And then revised density bonus ordinance, which was done last year. So.
Clarification,
Sure.
You talked about a Solano Ave plan, a specific area plan. Would you be applying for a PDA, or is it just rezoning and not looking for funding?
I think it depends who you talk to. No, the intent wouldn't be to apply for the PDA. I think there was a lot of discussion, is my understanding, during our housing element update, or new housing element of doing a Solano Avenue specific plan that came off of, having done our San Pablo Avenue specific plan. I would like to, without curtailing any, obviously, public involvement or transparency, I would like to try to focus on the issues of what we're trying to get at, and if we can do that through zoning amendments, I think that will be much more efficacious to move forward and keep our work plan going. But no PDA. I mean, that was not the intent, yeah.
What is that? What are you referring to?
It's a priority development area, and that is, you apply through, now help me here, is it through ABAG, MTC, and by getting that designation, it does allow you to access certain funds, provided that they're still be available. Yeah.
Okay, well, I know council is, some of the previous council members have expressed support for updating the TDM to apply across the city and not just San Pablo Avenue, and making it more robust, because there's not much to it at the moment, and it's part of transit-oriented development and would encourage more transit and pedestrian and less congestion, et cetera, help us along to our climate action goals. So
Yeah.
that's why that was on the list for me. So, okay, any other comments about future items? Okay, well, our next meeting is canceled Wednesday, February 26th, so we will be meeting again in March. And with that, I will call this meeting adjourned and see you in a month.
Thank you.